is Hallie Ellerby. I'm currently taking dual credit courses at the college here in Ranger. I am only a freshman at Ranger High School as of right now. Today, I will be presenting you my speech and my slideshow today. My speech today will be over multiple kinds of policies you can have, how I feel about the policies, and I will be also talking about the Monroe's motivated sequence and how I'll use it for my policy. The title of my speech is Some Change Needs to Happen. The Monroe motivated sequence is seen in many real-life situations, such as in sale pitches. When you use this, you need to have a good delivery and be confident and also be passionate. Monroe motivated sequence. There are even 5 different steps to the sequence. These steps are attention, satisfaction, need, visualization, and even call to action. You just use a sequence to organize your speech, or like I am doing, organize your point of view on policies. I am going to use the Monroe motivated sequence to help me set up my speech and use it to help justify my reasonings. I think the sequence will help you a lot in the future. The policy that I am trying to amend is about bullying and harassment that takes place in school, and most of the time, even outside of school. Bullying needs to stop and something needs to change. Harassment comes in many, many different forms. You can physically or even mentally hurt someone. Saying mean things to someone isn't a nice thing to say, and stuff like this needs to be talked about more often. Honestly, I think mental harassment happens more often in schools than physical at school. That might just be my school. Outside of school, I think it's the same way. It is very easy to say mean things to someone. Introducing my policy. Like I said earlier, bullying and harassment comes in many different forms. Here are some examples I have for you today. Number 1, saying mean things such as, your hair looks disgusting, you look even uglier today, or even saying someone can't do anything right is rude to say. Number 2, something that is verbally rude to is when, for example, you tell your whole class to not pick someone to be on their team, just because they are different from you. Number 3, hitting or physically pushing someone is something that should never be done. Just do not do it. Number 4, and lastly, just even giving dirty looks to someone is not appropriate to do, or even saying things secretly about someone to another person. Never, ever spread rumors about someone, ever. Just because someone is different from you, or they act different, doesn't mean you can be disrespectful towards someone. Physical harassment definitely is never okay. Never do that. There are many rules or policies you need to follow in school. I think that we need to strengthen our policies about bullying and harassment. This is a very serious thing and needs to be talked about more frequently. I know some schools bring people to their schools and have assemblies over harassment, but I think that's just never enough. Policy needs to change. 1 out of every 5 students in high school report being bullied. That does not include the amount of kids that do not report the harassment. A higher percentage of males report being bullied than females do just in high school. I think this might actually be true. Change needs to be made today. The most common kind of harassment is verbal. Just about 79% of the population gets harassed on the daily verbally. Social harassment happens with about 50% of people. Physical bullying happens about 29% of the time. And lastly, cyberbullying happens 25% of the time. Keep in mind, a lot of times harassment does not get recorded. More change needs to happen. The rules of bullying need to be changed. Harassment is a very serious issue and it happens everywhere. I think that this issue needs to be amended. Amended just means like make it better or repeal an existing policy. We need to change the policy of bullying at schools and make it more serious. It all needs to be taken more seriously. The policy of bullying needs to be altered. My perspective on this concept. Personally, I think this concept needs to be changed. Have you ever been bullied or harassed? Before this issue gets much worse, we need to amend this policy of bullying. I do not want the future people of this world to get harassed worse than we do nowadays. Change needs to happen, and it needs to happen very, very fast. I personally have never gotten physically harassed, but I know other people have. This policy needs to be fixed as soon as possible. I think Once we amend this policy of harassment and bullying, then life will be much different. We strongly need to do something about the policy before it gets much, much worse. Wouldn't you want to help me change the world for the better? Then let's do it. The resources that I used today on my speech and even on my PowerPoint, I'm starting with number 1, stopbullying.government, number 2, understood.org, number 3, commerce.government, number 4, educationcorner.com, and this one helped me also, but I didn't put it on my speech thing. It's au.indeed.com, and that's my speech today.